Yo, what's up, family? Welcome back to my channel. Let's go with Rambo. I know I have not made a video in a while. I mean a long time. So I'm really going to start making some time, creating some videos and kind of just, talking about coasters here and there. But there's a lot of ideas that I have that I really want to bring to this channel. I'm starting a new series called Coaster versus Coaster, and I truly believe, I think this would be a very interesting case for episode 1. So what we're going to talk about today is the RMCs that are literally within a 30-minute drive from each other. We are going to basically not only compare, but we are actually going to just reminisce about these rides a little bit. Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags over Georgia and ArieForce 1 over there in Fun Spot Atlanta. And I already know what some of y'all thinking. Look, I'm thinking the same thing too. Twisted Cyclone cannot hold a candle to ArieForce 1. We know that. But let's just sit here and let's just basically dissect both of the roller coasters, and let's just actually see if really can these rides be comparable, or if there's something about Twisted Cyclone that may have an advantage over ArieForce 1 or vice versa. So we're going to dive into that. Now, I guess the first ride that we're going to talk about is Twisted Cyclone. And before we actually get into Twisted Cyclone, I'm going to go ahead and lay out all the stats on the screen, the height, the length, and all that stuff. I don't feel like going through all that. I'm just going to put it on the screen on both of the roller coasters and let you just take a peek at that. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to make this thing very interesting. We're going to break all of these things. We're going to actually break these rides down, and we're going to compare them by category. The first category is going to be speed, intensity, airtime, layout, the theming, and consistency. So we're going to basically go through each and every ride and basically just go down the list, and we're just going to start comparing from that. Okay, so let's go. Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags over Georgia. I will tell you this about Twisted Cyclone, okay? Twisted Cyclone is not a bad RMC. Really, if you look at all the iBox and RMCs, really not a bad RMCs. RMCs basically is a ride that tries to do everything in its power to snatch you out your seat. That's the best way that I can explain RMCs. It is most of them are hybrids. Basically RMC, if you're not familiar, they basically take old dilapidated wooden roller coasters and they rebuild them. They rebuild the supports. Some of them, they knock half of the wood out and put steel supports, and then they put steel tracks on it and make the ride buttery smooth. But the thing is, they are out of control roller coasters. That's why RMCs are my favorite roller coasters, hands down. RMC 1, maybe B&M Hypers 2. But don't know what the third one's gonna get is. Maybe Arrow Looping Coaster. I like arrows. But yeah, just to go back on Twisted Cyclone, the ride first opened back in 2018, and I think that was a very big deal for Six Flags over Georgia. As far as me, right? When I first rode Twisted Cyclone, I was slightly did I enjoy the ride? Yes, I enjoyed the ride, but I was still kind of like, it was okay. Because for one, my first 2 RMCs that I rode, was my very first RMC roller coaster was Lightning Ride at Dollywood. And this was back in 2021 when they actually had the lunch. Even though the lunch has been neutered, it still was a good ride. My second RMC was ArieForce 1. So off the bat, during that time, I done already rode 2, and at that time, Lightning Ride with the lunch back then, probably 2 top 5 RMCs. So yeah, my standards of RMCs was very, very high. So when I rode Twisted Cyclone, I was like, it's okay. But anyway, Twisted Cyclone is Six Flags Over Georgia. Like I said, it's not a bad ride. It is not a bad ride. It's an okay ride. It's a decent ride. It's very, very short. Very, very short. Probably the shortest RMC ever. I mean, I believe what they should have did with Twisted Cyclone. I believe they should have kind of made it similar to how Wicked Cyclone is at Six Flags New England. The drops are very similar. The rides, the difference is Wicked Cyclone is actually doing a 3rd lap. Twisted Cyclone is doing 2 laps, and it goes quick. So yeah. So let's go down the category list because I don't want to waste too much of you guys' time. So Twisted Cyclone, let's talk about the speed. The ride actually goes up to 50 miles per hour, even though at times the ride feel like it's going faster than that. But like I said, you got to realize it's probably hitting 50 miles per hour probably within maybe 5 to 8 seconds, and then the ride's over. So I gave Twisted Cyclone a 3.0 out of 5.0 because, out of 5 because, like Twisted Cyclone is, it's so hard to, it's so hard to sit here and talk about a roller coaster that's literally only about 25-30 seconds long. It powers through its layout so quickly, the short layout so quickly. The best part of that roller coaster is the wave turn on the side of the lift hill. That is a very, very underrated airtime moment when you come back off of those Cobra rolls and go back and descent down and get on that sideways, that sideways airtime. That's actually pretty good. So I will give the speed on Twisted Cyclone a 3.0. It's good, not great. Average for an RMC, probably maybe the slowest RMC, outbox RMC. So I'm gonna give it a 3.0. So let's move on. Okay, the intensity. It's not all that intense. There's not too many RMCs that really hits you with a lot of positive G's. There are some out there that pretty, that got moments of positive G's, but I decided to give it a 1.5 out of 5 when it comes to positive G's. Well, I'm saying positive G's, but intensity. And the ride is not all that intense, man. I mean, my 9-year-old daughter can probably ride Twisted Cyclone, and it probably won't even faze her. But it's still a fun ride. Airtime. This ride actually has really, really good airtime. It's not as good as other RMC's airtime, but the airtime is okay. And there's really only 2 airtime moments on that ride. When you get on the side of the lift hill, and when you come back up, you kind of go on this before you kind of do the bank turnaround. You have a airtime moment there. Then when you go down, go back up the hill, you have an airtime moment before you go into the 0G roll. So I also gave the airtime a 3.0 out of 5, which was decent. It's okay. Yeah. So let's go into the layout. Now this is where I have to really be really honest. The layout on Twisted Cyclone is, how can I say this without like really, because this is not a dog Twisted Cyclone or bash Twisted Cyclone video. But it is what it is. It's kind of generic. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why, for the life of me, I felt like Six Flags Over Georgia could have did a little bit better job. I don't know if it came down to money or if it came down to the space that RMC had to work with, but I don't know. But the layout is, it's decent. So that's why I gave the layout a 2.0 out of 5. You know, just to put things in perspective, it is what it is. All right. Now let's talk about the theme. The theming on Twisted Cyclone is actually okay. The theming is to really jog back my memory when you go into the little station with the switchbacks where you have to wait. They got like pictures of boats being impacted by the hurricane or cyclone, however. You see newspapers in there, you know, telling you about the storm and stuff like that. And even on the ride itself, you actually see like, you know, structures like boats and things that was damaged by the cyclone. And then while you're riding on the lift hill, you know, it tells you like little words and stuff. And right before you get ready to drop, I think the little sign said, now it's time to write it out. The theming is okay. Which for a roller coaster like that, I mean, you know, hey, you know, you only can expect so much. But as far as the theming of the ride, I gave it a 3.0. The theming is okay. Okay, the theming is okay. Not going to waste too much time on the theming. I care about theming because I feel like theming is something that builds up, that kind of helps build that you know, anticipation of riding the roller coaster, in my opinion. You know, I love the theming. Actually, you know, if for example, like I remember, you know, going to Six Flags Over Georgia and going to the Batman and how you go down into the swamps of Gotham, and you know, the theming to me really adds to the ride experience. But anyway, yeah, that's what I decided to give theming to the Cyclone 3.0. And now to our last category, consistency. And what I mean by consistency is, do the ride, from the time the ride drops the lift hill, from the time it hits the brake run on the way back to the station, does the ride stay consistent? Does it meanders? Does it lose steam? Does it pick up speed on the way? Look, Twisted Cyclone is very consistent. It's very consistent. Like I said, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but it's a very short ride, so you expect it to have some consistency. But it's a very consistent ride. It's very fast. It goes through its layout quick. It powers through its layout. I mean, it steams through its layout all the way till you get to the brake run. I wish they would have added at least about, gosh, man, it would have been nice if they would have added a third lap around that ride. Hopefully Six Flags will kind of reconsider that, you know, say, hey, let's just, you know, add about another, you know, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 feet of track just to make it, you know, another lap around it, whatever. Okay, anyway, so to just go back over what we talked about, just go back over the point. Speed, I have given it a 3.0. Consistency, I gave it a 1.5. Airtime, I gave it a 3.0. Layout, I gave it a 2.0. The theming, I gave it a 3.0. And the consistency, I gave it a 4.5. So that is 17 out of 30. Knowing, which I probably should have said in the beginning of the video, 30 is the perfect score, but I doubt any ride would be a 30. But hey, when we go through these coasters versus coasters, man, you know, ain't no telling what we may run into. So yeah, so that's it by Twisted Cyclone. Kind of a low score. You know, really, you know, comparing to other RMCs, like I said, Twisted Cyclone's not a bad ride. I'm not trying to bash Twisted Cyclone. But let's go into this dog right here. Now, our next category, ArieForce 1. And look, I will tell y'all guys this, even before I get into ArieForce 1, this is, I'm gonna roll some footage for y'all. I want y'all to look at my reaction when I first rolled to the Cyclone for the very first time, and my reaction when I rolled ArieForce 1 for the first time. So I'm gonna let that clip roll, and y'all just tell me what y'all think in the comments. All right, I just got off the Twisted Cyclone. It was straight, it was all right. Wasn't better than ArieForce 1. As you see, I'm rocking the drip today, but it was okay. I will expand on a little bit more when I do my post reaction, but it's a middle of the road RMC, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to come back and ride it again once it warm up, because obviously it was, you know, a little sluggish going through the terrain, but the ride needs to warm up, so I will come back later on today to ride it. So all right, I'm about to go hit up Goliath. Yo fam, I just got off the ArieForce 1. You can probably hear it in my voice. I was yelling like a little girl. This ride is intense. I was all the way in the back seat of this roller coaster. Oh my goodness, bro. The G's that this ride pulled is so insane. You know, they said that this is a lot of coaster enthusiasts say this is a top 3, top 5 RMC. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is my first credit. On this channel, this is my first credit. All right, I was in the very back seat. The back seat is so intense. All right, now I gotta do the front. Now, you notice that my reactions to both of those rides was night and day. And that's the reason why, you know, I'm kind of making this comparison. ArieForce 1 is a top dog RMC, top 3. I'm subscribed myself to a lot of coaster enthusiasts, and every time I look at their coaster ranking videos, they always have ArieForce 1 within their top 5. Most of them top 3. It is an amazing roller coaster, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop the stats on the screen for y'all on this ride. And I say this all the time, if ArieForce 1 can be at just about any theme park in America, and it will be their top 3 ride. Man, a lot of theme parks, half of the theme parks, it will probably be their best ride, because look, ArieForce 1 is better than every single roller coaster at Six Flags over Georgia. So, you know, ArieForce 1, I have slight concerns about ArieForce 1 future, because, you know, I sit there and think about, you know, can this little small rinky-dink amusement park can keep up with the maintenance of this roller coaster? And, you know I'm not the only person that's thinking that. For now, I'm going to say I believe they got a plan. You know, it's been there for 3 years now, you know, so, and it's still running, you know, as good as it, you know, it's still a new roller coaster, so we probably have to see in the next 10 years when it started to have some wear and tear, where Fun Spot will be able to keep up with the maintenance. But anyway, we're not going to put our cart ahead of the horse. So now let's go through this category. Let's talk about the speed. I have given the speed on ArieForce 1 a 4.0. I thought about giving a 4.5, but I said, you know what? It's not the fastest RMC, but it's far from the slowest RMC. It's in that top half when it comes to speed. So I decided to give a 4.0. That ride, man, that ride with the, I'm telling you, man, with that 0G stall, that outer bank, then the double up, going into the arcade road, that turnaround, which is, look, I gray on that turnaround, come back into another 0G road, and you're just hitting 4 airtime hills. That ride is extremely aggressive, okay? So I got to give the speed a 4.0 out of 5. Intensity, I just got through talking about the like the half helix, the turnaround while you're going back to the state. You will gray out on that. So I decided to give that a 4.0 out of 5 because that ride is so intense. That part of the ride is so intense, man. It kind of, you know, that turnaround kind of reminds me of the helix on Goliath, because that's how strong that turnaround is. You will gray out on that turnaround. Airtime, I have also given a 4.0 out of 5 because that ride tries to do everything. When I mean everything, I mean everything to snatch you out that seat. I mean, even the floater airtime that you get when you're on that 0G stall, I mean, that ride is an airtime perfectionist. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm sitting here trying to compare roller coasters, and I know some of y'all watching this and saying, boy, this boy is in love. Yeah, I do. ArieForce 1, as it stands right now, the two, I keep going back and forth which one is my favorite roller coaster. It's between Fury 325 and ArieForce 1. So yeah, I really do love, out of 43 credits that I got, those two roller coasters are really my favorites. So let's go into the layout. I have also given the layout a 4.0 out of 5 because the layout is okay. When you compare the speed, the intensity, the airtime ratio to the layout, it's perfect. I mean, the way the ride is built, the way the ride goes to its element, the layout is perfect, because you can tell Rocky Mountain Construction actually put a lot of thought and creativity when they built this ride from the ground up. And I have no complaints. I have very little complaints about ArieForce 1, man. As you see, as we go down these categories, I have very little to complain about. Maybe if there's one thing that I complain about ArieForce 1 is, yeah, after riding so many times, when you go through those little airtime hills on the way back to the brake run, it can get a little painful. I'll be honest with you. That can get a little painful. Okay, theming. I gave the theming a 3.5 out of 5. The theming is pretty, you know, the theming is based off space. It's based off I guess kind of put you like in that, you know, Air Force astronaut, you know, mission space, prepare for lunch type theming. And you'll see it when you're on your way to the queue. You'll see like they'll have like, you know, blueprints, and they'll have like written out stuff. You see the little drums of fuel. That's for the I guess, you know, that's for the spaceship, you know, stuff like that. You know, just to paraphrase based on what I remember seeing. The theming is pretty. It's not a whole lot, but the theming is there. So that's why I basically gave it a 3.5. So yeah, let's continue to go through this, man, because I don't want to make this video longer than when it has to be. Consistency. The consistency, I gave it a 4.5. No. Yeah. I gave it a 4. No. I gave it a 5. A 5 out of a 5 point. Jeez. Why I can't talk to that? I gave it a 5 out of 5. And the reason why I gave it a 5 out of 5, because like, dude, you was hauling. I don't think that ride has any lag whatsoever. It doesn't have any lag whatsoever. And I'm just sitting here thinking, let me get some time to think. There's a part of that ride that actually slows down. No, I don't think it is. It powers through its layout. And that being said, that's just a ride you just got to go ride. And that being said, I gave it a 24.5 out of 30. Very, very good, consistent roller coaster. Very consistent layout. The speed is consistent. The theming is okay. The intensity, there are intense moments on that ride is okay. And as you see, as I compare Twisted Cyclone to ArieForce 1, Twisted Cyclone, Twisted Cyclone is definitely a mini RMC compared to ArieForce 1. But since we made these two comparisons, let's go into the conclusion. Okay, so in conclusion, first, let me say this. I know I was a little hard on Twisted Cyclone, and I'm going to say this. Twisted Cyclone is a good ride. It's the second best roller coaster, in my opinion, at Six Flags Over Georgia. And I'm not going to lie, it deserves its credit. For as small and as short as it is, it does pack a punch. You know, I will give it that. But ArieForce 1 is just better, okay? You know, it is what it is. It's just a better ride that has a better layout, has better speed, and you will have a better ride experience if you are someone like me that really enjoy, you know, crazy, out of control roller coasters. But all in all, just wanted to make this comparison, just want to make this versus, you know, just to kind of you know, talk about these rides, you know, give them they just do, to see what ride does the best. And, you know, I'm not going to iterate, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I done held y'all time up long enough. Yeah, so if you like these type of videos, like, comment, subscribe. I'm definitely going to be doing another coaster versus coaster video very, very soon. So, look, thank y'all for tuning in. Let me know what y'all think, or if y'all have any difference of opinions, hey, let me know in the comments. So, hey, God bless y'all. Godspeed. Jesus is King. Peace.